Tesla has recently appeared in all news for its new Model 3. For the market, it has already been a success with 220,000 orders. To be in the waiting list, a client has to spend $1,000, even if the new Model 3 won't be available until 2017 in the US and 2018 in Europe. Elon Musk has already commented the fact, saying that he will have to revise the production plan in order to satisfy the increasing demand. The company, appointed by everybody as a market breakthrough in the close future for its highly innovative technological cars, has now to grow and become profitable. But are we sure it will be able to achieve all these expectations? After having analyzed Tesla, we think it has a potentially competitive advantage within the 5-year period. To achieve it, Tesla will have to overcome a huge challenge: the lack of capacity to position itself in the mainstream segment of the automotive market. We suggest Elon Musk to focus on two main strategies: a joint venture with FCA to increase its capacity in the medium term, and to invest in new facilities and expand the Gigafactory to sustain the demand and effectively position itself in the mainstream segment of the automotive market. From its foundation in 2003, Tesla started to record sales in 2008, which grew hugely during the last 3 years. Also, its stock price is now 14 times higher than the original price it recorded in the IPO in 2003. Tesla operates in three different segments: cars, electric vehicle powertrain components, and battery products. By being present at the same time in these three segments, Tesla wants to achieve economies of scale and to place itself in the mainstream segment. Looking at the financials, capital expenditures and research and development expenses have been increasing more than sales throughout the last 3 years. Capex on sales is 40.41% and return on invested capital is minus 20%. In general, the automotive sector has low margin. As we see, the tech industry has usually higher margins. Tesla can benefit from its hybrid nature, partially placing itself as a tech company in the automotive industry. This will be possible if it will be able to place significant amount of tech products in the automotive industry. Comparing Tesla with the principal competitors, we can see that the revenues and margins are lower for the moment, and the huge challenge will be to become profitable in the next years. We think that Tesla doesn't have a competitive advantage at the moment. Despite this fact, it can establish a future leadership position leveraging on three main sources: the industry position, since Tesla competes in the automotive industry but has all the features of a tech company. In fact, even if sales do not currently justify huge investments, when the Gigafactory will be at full capacity, it will have the possibility to increase the sales level. The strategy it is pursuing could reveal also to be a success, as Tesla is trying to sell lithium batteries in parallel markets and will benefit from the expected lower cost of lithium batteries. Tesla is also a first mover in the electric car segment, with all the advantages coming from expected process efficiencies. Political policies and social factors have a good impact on profitability. On the other hand, economical factors such as the decline in oil price and gasoline prices may limit the profitability figures. Environment awareness can also be beneficial to Tesla, but other macro-environment features such as the protection of car dealers by franchise law in the US and the need of more charging station infrastructures will be a limit for the growth of Tesla. At the moment, Tesla supplies Toyota and Daimler. Since supplying these companies a high share on profit, bargaining power with buyers is strategically important. The company is highly dependent on the suppliers, and any problems with components delivery will result in production disruption that negatively reflects on company image. Tesla faces a low threat of substitution as there are no comparable products in the market. Capital requirements and research and development expenses in battery area are high, so they constitute an objective threat for new entrants. At the moment, the rivalry in the electric vehicle industry is principally with Nissan and BMW, which have 80% market share in electric vehicles. Thanks to the manufacturing processes and vertical integration, Tesla is able to reduce waiting period to the minimum, to improve production efficiency, and to reduce the time wasted. Tesla is making huge investments in research and development and has a partnership with Panasonic that increases battery pack technology. The company will have to focus mainly on the development of superchargers to enhance its advantage in order to facilitate the task of customers when they have to charge the car battery. This won't be sufficient if Tesla won't be able to further expand the Gigafactory with other investments in order to satisfy the demand. Currently, the advantages to be a first market mover are offset by lack of cash and meeting of demand expectation. An opportunity can be to improve its core business and to create charging station infrastructures. Tesla will have to develop the following opportunities: focusing on a partnership to minimize the possible costs of material used. It has also to strengthen its image as the company with most expertise in producing electric cars. With also an increase of production volumes and sales, Tesla could be capable to exploit economies of scale and to stabilize its business model. Those projects could lead the company to have stronger bargaining power with suppliers, which will result in an avoidance of the increasing material costs. The principal main challenge that Tesla faces now is the mass market focus without the right infrastructure. There's also the lack of capacity to operate in the mass market, as the Gigafactory at full capacity can produce 500,000 units, but it is unsustainable to satisfy the customer's expectations if we think that he had 275,000 pre-orders of Model 3 in the first 3 days. It needs also more cash to sustain growth projects and investments. In order to address the core challenges, we believe that Tesla has to adapt its organizational structure to the strategy to go mainstream and to issue new stocks for overcoming the problem of liquidity. Regarding the organizational structure, Tesla has to implement two strategies. In the medium term, we highly recommend to make a joint venture with FCA. Thanks to this operation, Tesla will be able to increment its capacity and fully satisfy the customer demand. This strategy is also justified by the willing of Elon Musk to establish its presence in Europe. We think the FCA could be the right partner, as during the last 3 years it experienced an external growth aimed at covering all segments of the automotive industries. In the long term, we believe that Tesla should invest in the construction of additional gigafactories in order to boost the capacity of its own facilities. For what concerns the issuing of new equity, this is an action that is needed to sustain growth projects and investments. We believe that this is the right time to make it. Indeed, we can see the stock's price has risen from January 2016, so they would be able to raise all the capital needed. Thank you for the attention.